Berserk is universally considered one of, if not the best manga of all time, and it absolutely deserves all the praise it gets. When it comes to discussion about the series, the Golden Age as well as future arcs attract the most attention. Which makes sense, they're all incredible arcs, although it leaves one ignored or even considered noticeably worse than everything else. However, I'd argue that this arc is in the same tier of quality as all the others and deserves far more credit than it gets for delivering loads of setup, intriguing mysteries, world building, and just being a fantastic self-contained story on its own. That arc, of course, being the Black Swordsman. Black Swordsman drops you right into the world of Berserk, with no explanation of who Guts is or why he's doing what he is. This works in the arc's favor. This world feels so alien and cruel in a way that having knowledge of the true nature of this land and Guts' motivation would ruin the terror of what's going on here. This is communicated to us in the character of Puck, who could be considered simple comedic relief, but I feel he's much more than that. From a technical aspect, he allows us to get just enough context to follow Guts' journey, while not spoiling the secrets of the world. But he also creates more emotion in this section of the story. The way he challenges Guts' decisions makes us question what he's doing. The best example of this comes from the scene in which Guts is forced to kill a child possessed by an evil spirit. This causes Guts to just stand there for a second in silence, with Puck explaining it wasn't his fault. Guts then starts laughing, trying to force himself to not think about what he's just done, a mindset that shows he's been in for the entire arc. This creates even more intrigue about Guts' past than we already have, and speaking of Guts, let's talk about him. Some criticism goes towards Guts' character in this arc, that he isn't exactly a heroic person and often does some straight up evil stuff. Though I'd argue that that's kind of the point. You're not supposed to root for him. Nero is clearly setting him up as some sort of monster, and Puck is our point of view that allows us to relate to at least one character, since he knows just as little as us. So when Guts does show some emotion after the fight with the spirits, it shows there's more than he's letting on. Shown even further when we see him crying after his encounter with the God Hand, which is a perfect segue into the Golden Age, I should add. Guts may not be likable here, but we can clearly tell there's more to him, and there's so much fascinating setup for future arcs here. Miura has said that he had next to no plans for the future of the series while writing The Black Swordsman, just trying to draw enough interest to avoid cancellation. With that context, you'd think this arc would have abysmal pacing and not fit into the rest of the story at all, but no, not at all actually. I find it incredible how much mystery included in this story while incorporating it expertly into this self-contained story that forms interest in the rest of the series, without putting too much emphasis on it to where it takes the reader's attention away from the primary plot of the arc, which I should probably get into about now. A strange creature comes to attack the village, seemingly due to Guts. He causes tons of death and chaos, with Guts taking advantage of this to hide and ambush him and his soldiers. After apparently taking him out quite easily actually, he transforms into a massive monster, pushing Guts to use some smart strategy and defeat him. This isn't the greatest scene of Berserk, but it sets up the tone and world, as well as how powerful Guts is. In the next village Guts enters, a corrupt ruler is seen executing innocent people just to express his power over his citizens. Guts makes himself known to this count, and is hunted down by his soldiers, which in addition to his brand lets us know there's something special about him we don't yet understand. The soldiers are easily taken out by Guts until a more capable person, Zondark, attacks, but even then he's finished quickly. All the endless fighting starts to take its toll on Guts, which motivates some unknown person to give Guts an opportunity to escape. Entering this person's home, Guts finds an egg-looking object known as a behelit, which he has a strong reaction to, demanding to know more about him. Complying, we learn he used to serve the Count until he seemingly changed overnight, becoming extremely cruel with him killing his family and disabling him for life after they try to escape, setting us up for a far bigger and more interesting story than the last. Zondark's prior defeat causing the Count to augment his body to become an inhuman monster, only living to kill Guts, then attacking the trio as they're talking in Vargas's house. This fight's important as it's the first time Guts is truly challenged, only making it out by sheer luck, abandoning Vargas to be abducted and executed by the Count. This is clearly done to draw Guts out, and he knows this, although Puck begs him to try anything. We can tell this is having some effect on Guts as much as he hates it, so he walks towards the center of the city and doesn't make it. Puck tries to do anything but only fails, being abducted. Vargas is dead, and despite not being directly told to us, we know this really angers Guts. If I already thought Berserk was great, this is when it became something incredible, subverting our expectations while still making the most sense for this world. Going into the final section of the Black Swordsman, Guts finishes his fight with Zondark, who at this point is completely taken over by the Count, with no will of his own, being the best fight so far, Guts having to come up with his most creative strategy yet. While Guts is rushing through the castle, we see Puck being given to the Count's daughter, Theresia, who explains that he was a kind man until his wife was killed by heretics. Although it's pretty clear there's more going on here than we know. We then find Guts having gotten through the entire castle in front of the Count, and this is the most difficult challenge Guts has faced yet. The Count shows his true form and absolutely destroys Guts, with him getting no real damage in. Puck also calls out the Count on his actions, proving his worth as a character even more. Theresia breaks in right in the middle of the fight, shocking both her and the Count, giving a desperate Guts a chance to hold her hostage and finally get a clean hit in on the Count and nearly kill him. But the Count clings to life, causing the Behelit to awaken and take them to a strange world, finally seeing the God Hand. This world is by far the most alien yet creative thing we've seen so far, while still fitting in with the established plot. Guts, seeing Griffith, attacks him in a blind rage despite knowing he can't do anything to him. Showing a completely new side to this character who's been able to keep his emotions in check so far, implying a massive connection between the two. The God Hands show everyone the real reason the Count changed. He killed his wife as a sacrifice to become a demon in a rage against her, then being offered another chance as long as he sacrifices his daughter as well. But he just can't do it, them being pulled down to hell by many spirits, Vargas included. This could be where it ends, and it would be a great ending. However, it doesn't. Guts seemingly couldn't care less about Theresia, yet saves her from falling as she threatens to kill him one day. Puck can't understand why Guts does this, but sees him crying with his back turned, finally being affected by everything that's happened even more, to the point where he shows it. This arc is absolutely incredible. How it's considered the worst arc in the series is crazy in my opinion. Miura clearly had a great story to tell by the time he got to the end here, even turning down an opportunity to work with the author of Fist of the North Star, a sure success to continue Berserk and tell this incredible story. I think he did an incredible job with it, even this early on. Despite making an incredible arc here, Miura would continue to improve and make some of his best arcs yet in the future. I'll be covering those next time.